Anderson Cooper, AC360, CNN weeknights 10 Eastern.
Sean, you went around for hours trying to get aid groups to help. What was the problem?
In our very few automobiles, we were taking this boy from hospital to hospital. And we had in each hospital, he was re-diagnosed with diphtheria, which would have been the first confirmed case. We also were simultaneously searching for the immunoglobulin that would have saved his life. That took 11 hours. And we spoke to the American Red Cross, General Trumbitas, whose job it is not, the commanding Major General of the U.S. forces here, spent hours himself, as did the Red Cross, trying to find this immunoglobulin. We spoke to every hospital that we've been dealing with, and we've dealt with nearly every hospital in Port-au-Prince over these last almost 4 months. Well, this is one of the 5 things we're inoculated for when we come here, so this should not be a surprise. Now, I have been, my last time speaking to Sanjay, I've been trying to exercise some restraint. I know this is a very complicated situation, and there are great people, Giovanni Cassani, for example, at IOM. There are people who are working very hard in all of these agencies, there's no question, but it is dominated by an inertia that killed a 15-year-old named Oriole Lynn Peter today. This is a situation where nobody can say that this was any surprise. Diphtheria, we get inoculated for it, and we did not have anywhere in Port-au-Prince until we were able to find a couple of CDC people, Lauren Lambert, Ezra Barsley, and then Kim Mungapaho and Michael Klopenstein at Promex. And they were willing to meet us late at night in an abandoned warehouse area where they keep, which is the only place that had it. But none of these agencies had notified any of the major hospitals. And we finally got him to General Hospital, then we went off, we finally got the immunoglobulin. It got into him too late by the time, and it's also a question, General Hospital, the biggest hospital in the biggest city in a country that's got the worst natural disaster of all time. And they didn't have enough staff or monitoring to deal with it when he coded or to intubate him at that point in time. And then his blood not being oxygenated enough, within several hours he was dead. He's 15 years old, and it's just the very beginning. This is the beginning unless everybody realizes that the disaster is still on. This is a disaster and a bigger one than the earthquake waiting to happen. And so all the inertia of all these agencies, right now, if I were putting my money on an agency that was actually ready to act, it would be the government of Haiti. Because all of the bureaucracy of all of these other agencies keep wanting to point the finger at the government of Haiti, but we know as camp managers that they were not prepared when we were ready to do our relocation, which was the first relocation in Port-au-Prince, that a lot of these agencies had not prepared. And I don't want to get into a finger pointing because I know how passionate so many are. But if one more person tells me that they're an expert from Africa and I'm an actor from Hollywood, I'm going to get on here and I'll tell you every name of every Schadenfreudist at log base that lives or dies with the same disease that's going to kill these people if people don't start doing. And the American Red Cross, people should know. David Melcher has been very communicative, the president of the American Red Cross. But they should know that is not going to do it, that money, unless they push that organization and all the other organizations and our organization to get off their butts. People are going to die en masse. That organization has basically been out of the medical field for 50 years. And so now, yes, did they spend $100 million for the World Food Program's food that came? Yes, they did. But most people think the World Food Program does that and that the money is coming into these other things. Everybody is saying we got to wait. This is a rebuild Haiti. There won't be a Haiti to rebuild without the people of Haiti. So that while I am absolutely supportive of permanent shelters, of communities, of economies built, and manufacturing for jobs, people have to realize that money has to be spent right now, and the organizations, and I will say that JPHRO is among them.
Sanjay, what do you make of this? I mean, the fact that something like diphtheria, which they claim they're going to start vaccinating for. I mean, UNICEF says they have a whole program. They're going to start vaccinating on the ground as well as for other things which they don't currently vaccinate for. But the fact that, you couldn't find the medicine to treat this little boy, what do you make of it?
It's a preventable, stupid death, just like you said at the beginning. In fairness, even before the earthquake, only about half the country received vaccines. But Anderson, if someone died of diphtheria the way that Sean just described in the United States, we would be reporting it, because it would be such a rare thing to be happening. People receive this vaccine. It is just something we take for granted, and it prevents people dying a death like the awful one that Sean just described. This boy went in with a scratchy throat 6 days ago, and now he's dead. I mean, that's exactly what can happen here. I think what's particularly shocking, when Sean called me or contacted me, I remember I was looking at my BlackBerry, just sort of horrified by the whole thing, is that even at various stages along the progression of this boy's illness, he could have been saved. He could have been saved. Certain medications, the antitoxin that Sean is talking about, those things can help, and they are widely available in most countries on the planet. But despite the fact that right now people are more at risk for these contagious diseases in Haiti and in Port-au-Prince in particular, they can't even prevent the diseases from happening, let alone treat them after they do. So, it was just absolutely shocking.
Sean, when you see this kind of thing up close, firsthand, where do you go from here? What needs to change on the ground now? What do people in America need to know? What can they do?
Listen, I was in the back of an open-door SUV with this boy trying to get from hospital to hospital all day that day. And he was animated and alive like any 15-year-old, though he had oxygen in our truck. This is the first confirmed case of diphtheria post-quake. It's a 15-year-old boy. He's dead. He was in school with his schoolmates before he was reported sick. There's an investigation going on. This is exactly the kind of thing that can kill masses of people. So this cold chain has to be established. We've got to have the power for our refrigerations. It's got to be refrigerated as it comes from all the other countries. And all these other countries and all these donors that are rebuilding Haiti, they've got to immediately make that designated disaster fund available and make it work now. And then when it comes to rebuilding, countries have to say, I'll do the rebuilding of houses. I'll build the agricultural. It can't be pledges that don't happen, or we're going to create a devastation that will be blood on America's hands that we don't have to do. And you all know, when the United States military came here, this was one of the proudest moments that any American could ever have. They were the primary force behind the life-saving that happened, helping the government of Haiti that was so fractured, and the people of Haiti. But now we've got to get people out of these ad hoc camps where these kind of diseases can spread. It's so quickly. So again, this disaster has to stay on people's mind as waiting to happen. And there'll be no excuse. And there's no excuse for the loss of this boy. No excuse.
Sean Penn, Sanjay Gupta, thank you.